There is a lot happening in the universe of Fallout right now, and we're going to talk all about it. For starters, yes, really, Fallout New Vegas might be getting a brand new update in the year of 2024. What exactly it is and why it's happening, we are going to discuss thoroughly today. We're also going to be getting into the Fallout TV show, due out on April 12th on Amazon Prime. This one is starting to refer to itself as basically Fallout 5. So we'll talk about how terrifying that can be if it ends up sucking, but also what to expect from the Fallout TV show in the month leading up to its launch. A new trailer, some new screens, some new plot details, what we're hoping to see. We'll get into all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a jam-packed one, and naturally as the Fallout news and rumors are starting to heat up, that means I'm about to enter that phase that's either your favorite version of Mr. Matty, or if you're like someone on Reddit who hates my guts, then the most intolerable version of Mr. Matty is about to come out. So let's talk about Fallout, shall we? Starting off with the original source of all this. I saw this on Gaming Leaks and Rumors. They posted this titled, "Why Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition has been classified by Peggy 2 days ago." For starters, we have the Steam DB, where we can note changes in the log on what's happening with the game on the back end. And very recently, a new beta branch was created, only to be deleted and then reposted once more, suggesting that something is happening with Fallout New Vegas and they are testing something soon ready to be released. Now, as also mentioned in that Reddit post, you'll see here that under the search results for Peggy, if you look at Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition, you can see it's been rated again on February 29th, 2024. So the big question mark is why, what's happening, and is it the Fallout New Vegas remaster that we have been waiting for? Unfortunately, I don't think it is, and I know I'm usually the one to sit here and go like, let's hope it is, but I would hold on to your hopium for another rumor. So, for starters, we have the Fallout Special Anthology. For those of you who were with me in 2015, you already have the Fallout Anthology. I saw some websites calling this one like the perfect gift for Fallout fans, or like, hey, like this is the one, right? Like this is a perfect celebration of Fallout. But look, all I'm saying is this one right here, if you pardon me, I just gotta take all these out. Let's do Fallout 2 as an example. One of my favorites, right? And guess what this comes with? That's right, the disc. All of these are codes. Anyway, that was me being pretentious. I apologize. This also does make a little nuke noise, but mine is broken now. For some reason, it stopped working. So I was kind of tempted to get this one. Anyway, thoughts on the Fallout new collectible aside, the Fallout Special Anthology is coming out. When? April 11th, just ahead of the Fallout TV show. So my guess is there was potentially some back-end updates to get this one ready for a re-release over on the Fallout Anthology, because that is a new digital re-release. And so it's possible that some of that back-end work will make Fallout New Vegas more compatible with modern PCs. The problem with this is naturally mods. Mods. Oh my gosh, the Fallout New Vegas modding community is so established right now, and it's so good. And it's only continuing to evolve still. And now we're seeing a potential update come in. My recommendation to you, and I'm sure you've already done this if you have a massive mod list for Fallout New Vegas, turn off automatic updates on Steam for Fallout New Vegas immediately. Make sure you don't get sniped by this one, because it will wipe out your mods. And since a lot of modders have moved on or don't support these anymore, if this game does get updated and your mods do not work anymore, it is very likely someone will not be there to go ahead and update the mod and make sure it's working. Now, I don't want to fearmonger too much. Maybe some modders will come out of hiding and do it. But to be on the side of caution, I would just say try to make sure you don't get sniped by the auto update. Now, why do we also think this is Fallout Anthology? It's not just baseless speculation. I held up this Fallout Anthology for a reason, actually. This came out in 2015. Specifically, it released in September of 2015, just ahead of Fallout 4, and it was announced July 23rd during QuakeCon. And guess what game got re-rated over on Peggy in 2015? That's right, Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. And we know nothing really happened with Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition in 2015 in the terms of big new updates that would really change the game and the framework of it. It was likely for the anthology. In fact, the only noteworthy recent update that Fallout 3 received was in 2021, when they were finally freed from Games for Windows Live, making it a lot easier to start things up and not having to rely on mods to disable this. And that just came out of the blue. So that's not to say that something new for Fallout New Vegas can't come out of the blue, but this wasn't really synchronized with anything. They just kind of did it. And it was a big deal, don't get me wrong, because it gave Fallout 3 a whole new breath of life to it, because it was a lot easier to finally start up without having to use mods or having to go and get it on a different launcher like GOG. So it doesn't eliminate that Fallout New Vegas isn't going to get anything, but just to say that even the Steam DB updates don't always indicate that something massive is coming our way. So I imagine the same is happening here with Fallout New Vegas. And this is all being done to prepare all of these Fallout games to be ready for an audience that is likely going to swim toward all the Fallout games. And let's say they are updating New Vegas to make sure it works across all computers. You would want that, right? Because this show takes place on the West Coast, so you want the more modern representation of that, even if it's from Obsidian, to be ready and willing to work. I don't know if people are going to leap into Fallout 1 and 2 as readily. I know I personally would as a hardcore Fallout fan, but I do think if a more casual consumer strolled on by and said, hey, I really like that Fallout TV show, and then you see New Vegas, which looks kind of like it in the terms of setting, maybe that would pull them in. Just like we expect Fallout 4 to do really well with its next-gen update, just like we saw Cyberpunk and Witcher really see great benefits in the player count from all the support they got through the Netflix shows they did. So yes, if I were a betting man, unfortunately, I don't think this Fallout New Vegas update is anything to get really hyped about in the terms of a remaster or something like that. It's also possible that they add items that are going to be inspired by the Fallout TV show. You saw in Fallout 76, they're going to be adding a Vault 33 jumpsuit. I don't know what else they may be adding to celebrate the show, but maybe they do something for New Vegas as well, although that'd be a little weird. I could see that instead being saved for Fallout 4. So yeah, the too long didn't read. Make sure you have the auto updates off for Fallout New Vegas so your mod list doesn't get ruined until we learn what exactly is happening here. And also, this update probably isn't anything significant like you hoped for, and it's likely just the Fallout anthology. We'll see, though, as we await the release of that and any potential announcements, which I figure if this is something they're going to try to sell, they probably would have announced it already, but I could be wrong, I guess. Let's talk about the Fallout TV show now. Over here on PC Gamer, they posted an article titled, Fallout TV show producer says, it's almost like we're Fallout 5. Oh, man. Well, luckily, this is in a post-trailer world where I have, a lot more hope. I'm a lot more optimistic about it. But if I saw this before the trailer hit, this would have sent shivers down my spine. That a TV show in a series I'm absolutely obsessed with and I want to Fallout 5 like yesterday just because I'm insatiable when it comes to this franchise. And they're just saying that the TV show is going to be kind of like that. Ooh, that still kind of stings. But all right, let's see the context, right? So here they say in an interview with Total Film, quote, from the first conversation with Todd Howard, we were most excited about an original story. Nolan compared it to his work with the Dark Knight movies, which he co-wrote with his brother Christopher Nolan. Quote, Fallout in my career is closest to the work we did in adapting Batman, where there's so much storytelling in the Batman universe that there's no canonical version of it, so you're free to invent your own, end quote. Nolan went on to say, quote, each of the games is a discrete story, different city, distinct protagonist within the same mythology. Our series sits in relation to the games as the games sit in relation to each other. It's almost like we're Fallout 5. I don't want to sound presumptuous, but it's just a non-interactive version of it, right? End quote. And fair play. It is a non-interactive version of it. I think that's one of the most exciting yet scary parts about the Fallout TV show is that it does take place after Fallout 4. It is literally a continuation. And I do respect that because when it comes to, say, something like Star Wars, I really was excited at first when they were doing these filling the gap stories, but Star Wars got to this point, and I still love Star Wars, as many of you know, but it becomes more and more difficult to believe all these stories are happening between major sagas in the timeline. They're like, oh yeah, this is actually happening between the prequels and the OG trilogy. You just didn't know about it, and this is like the 8 millionth story that's happening here. So much has happened here, and I get the idea. It allows for more creations within that world, more stories to be told within that universe that people like, but I feel like we should be moving forward at some point in time. And so I'm happy to see that Fallout is continuing the tradition, which each entry in the series moves down the main path outside of Fallout 76, which actually moved backwards. But this does heighten the pressure a bit because you've got to account for what has happened from Fallout 1 all the way up to 4. And that does mean that there needs to be lore checks probably all over the place. And that's where, similar to Halo, I could see the Fallout TV show just getting eaten alive. I think about also the Avatar Netflix series. I don't know when it was first shown off. I know some people are sour on it now, but when it was first shown off, a lot of folks were really hyped for it. Like, oh, this looks incredible, way better than I expected. And I kind of agree. I did think that it looked pretty solid for what was there. I'm usually not one for the live action adaptation. However, as things moved on and as the producers and the directors talked more about it, particularly a comment involving Sokka, it just sounded like they were very disconnected from the source material. I say all of that because if there's one particular concern I have with what Nolan had stated about Fallout and comparing it to his work in the Batman universe, where there's no canonical version of it, is I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is likely just focusing on Batman in this sentence. But on the off chance he's not, what I will say is that what makes a Fallout mainline entry, show, movie, or game alike is that it moves things forward while still retaining some pieces of the previous entry. One thing that was really cool about Fallout 3 to Fallout 4 is seeing how this 10-year-old kid that you can meet in the Brotherhood of Steel ends up leading the chapter within the Commonwealth and is ruthless, a complete far cry away from the innocent kid you had met. And it was awesome to see that little scrap was picked up. Or sticking with Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, the Institute and Synths was built around a replicated man quest, and that was in Fallout 3. It was a side quest nonetheless. While it was one of the named ones, one of the more important ones, they built the core of Fallout 4 around that. So yes, while Fallout can exist in these various states across, at least as it is right now, the United States, and they can have their own stories and factions within them, that is very cool, but there is the element of picking up what was there in the past and evolving it many years later, since Fallout does have the liberty to take massive leaps in its timeline, where one time you can see someone as a kid and the next time you see them as an adult. That is my worry with Fallout, is that this next entry, as it's being treated as, is something that'll be largely disconnected. Now, that's just internalized fears, right? What I've seen thus far personally looks like, outside of the mutations, pretty safe. Like, they're not taking a lot of creative liberties, whereas something like Halo clearly took a lot of creative liberties, and we're seeing how that is panning out. But nonetheless, Fallout, I expect that we're going to see a trailer this month. I very much expect that, just because we kind of need more information, and I think just one trailer is not going to do the trick. So one more teaser trailer ahead of the show's launch. They're already ramping up some of the promotional imagery. There was one of Ella Purnell, who is the female vault dweller in the show, and she was doing a Nuka Girl-like pose, which I thought was cool. So they are beginning to ramp up, and we'll see what starts to come out this month involving the TV show. But I expect that there will be a lot of announcements and a lot of news and a lot of us talking about Fallout here. So be ready for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Fallout news roundup. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on what's going on with Fallout New Vegas and what's going on with the Fallout TV show down below. So please do fire away. And with that, take excellent care of yourselves. And I'll catch you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.